Prabhupada, you have to understand it through Prabhupada's teachings. We're trying to get out of the material world. So our position is a little different than everybody else. So if you're reading something Ayurveda, it's gonna relate to people in general. But it might not relate exactly to all devotees who are on a more transcendental level. For example, if a man can remain celibate, he can actually do it and be happy, we would never tell him to get married. Because if a man can remain celibate, he should do it. And we're not going to tell him to get married, because he doesn't need to. Because that simplifies his life. And if he can't do that, then we say you should get married. So, but still it's going to be controlled. Because our scriptures teach that the male-female attraction is the basis, the foundation of attraction to the material world. And it has to be minimized. It's like, let's say it's your birthday, and I bake you a chocolate cake with ice cream. And your doctor says you can only have 1 gram of sugar per week. So that means you can have 1 little spoonful of the cake, that's all. Right? But you can't just look at the cake and not eat it, so you take a little piece just to satisfy your taste that you tasted the cake. So Krishna conscious married life is like a big cake where you can only take a little piece. So the birthday is not about the cake, it's about the people and the presents and the party. So Krishna conscious family life is about so many things. It's not about sex. It's about giving up sex. Gradually purifying yourself. Because the problem is, any material desire doesn't go away by doing it. So you do it a little bit, you satisfy yourself. But if you do it too much, the desire to do it gets stronger. You know, look at the world today. You have men 70 years old, and at that age your sex desire becomes very weak. So what do? They take some formula to increase their sex desire. It's never going to go away. The only way it goes away is by not doing it. So yes, if you have the desire and you suppress it, it might make you crazy. And so you have to fulfill it. So you get married. But the goal isn't to have unlimited sex. Because as you lose your semen, you lose your vitality. And yes, it's just not healthy. The material world is very tricky. You know, then you take the second, third, and fourth bite of the cake, and then you take too much sugar, and then you get sick. And it was enjoyable while you were eating it, and then 2 hours later you can't function. So the material world is like that.
Должна произойти трансформация. Я очень глубоко изучал. Должна произойти трансформация вот этой энергии, которая здесь в зале. Она перейти в творчество, творческую энергию. То есть отсюда сюда.
He says that we have to sublimate our energy from this to some activity.
Yeah, that's called reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how you do it. You do it through the mind. Or yeah, you can do it through martial arts also. Energy, you know. Burning the physical energy, that's there. Engagement in service. The example in our tradition is Thakur Haridas. And he was absorbed in chanting. And Maya came and tried to seduce him. And she couldn't. Because he was... So... And Prabhupada said, you listen to Krishna's activities with the gopis, because we're trying to imitate that. Then we get purified, because we can't be Krishna. If you try to imitate Krishna, it's not good. Even if you have a wife, that wife is Krishna's. So how can you be happy enjoying Krishna's wife? It's not possible. Is it? The thing is, the more Krishna conscious you become detached from everything, not just sex, but everything. That's how you know you're becoming Krishna conscious. It's just not interesting. I mean, it's a physical desire. That's all it is. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, women, wine, and the flesh of animals don't give you any love. The heart wants love. So he wrote a poem. He said, women, wine, and the flesh of beasts, no love on thee bestow. You understand? Women, wine, and the flesh of beasts, no, they don't bestow love on you. Because love is spiritual. So, these material things don't give you love, they give you sense gratification. She's getting excited, yes.
Do you know that Bhaktivinoda Thakur stopped eating meat at the age of 43 years old? So
amazing, yeah.
It means we have chance, even if we can overcome.
Yeah. Yes. He was referring to lust, basically. That lust doesn't bestow love.
Just between Vaishnava and man,
well,
woman in marriage, wouldn't they bestow Vaishnava love?
When you use the word women in this context, it was just, when the average person's, looking for women. That means he's looking for sex. Meat, women, what does they say? It was like women, wine, and meat. But when he's talking of love, he's talking on a different level. even in a Krishna conscious marriage, you know, it's a form of love between Vaishnavas. But that has to be very pure in serving or to satisfy. Otherwise, if it's, what am I going to get from you? What are you going to get from me? Then you get no love. You just get a pot in your head or a knife in your back or something. I mean, you know, look at, it's that kind of love is so filled with hate on the other side. But if it's Krishna conscious, you could say yes, that's different. But he's referring to ordinary people. To, you know, that we're looking for material enjoyment and we get no love. We might get sense gratification, but no love. And love is what the heart is hankering for. Right? Women, wine, and the flesh of beast, no love on you do they bestow. It's a nice verse. Isn't it?
It could be very easily misunderstood.
Well, in the material sense. There's wine and there's flesh, so it's in the material sense. Women, wine, and flesh.
Women also in the
Yeah, when the women are with the wine and the flesh, then we know what it means. Right? Yeah. Well,
Это, наверное, беспорядочные просто половые связи, но не женщины. Женщины, они частицы Кришны, не женщины, наверное, неправильный перевод. Беспорядочные половые сношения, беспорядочные, но не женщины. Это получается женщины, и мы сразу, у нас проекция, что женщины это плохо. Это какой-то неправильный перевод.
But this doesn't mean that all women bad.
no, it means all men are bad who lust after women. That song was for men who lust after women. Women are not bad, or man's lust for women is bad. Yes? Women are neutral. They're not good or bad. But if you lust after them, your lust is bad. And then your connection is bad. That's the point. Now, who is love meant for? Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Love is meant for Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And lust will never be satisfied. It's not possible. But you can take one piece of cake every month on the right day. If you have a wife, you see that wife as Krishna's gopi. And you serve that wife like she's Krishna's gopi. Men do not want to serve women, they want to enjoy women. That's the disease. They think women are meant for their enjoyment. Now you're my wife, so You're meant for my enjoyment. The devotee sees this wife is Krishna's gopi, and I help her serve Krishna. And maybe once a month I take a piece of cake. Not more than that. And at a certain point in my life, no more cake. Cake's over. And Prabhupada would say, and the sooner you stop eating the cake, the better. So by being married, then you fulfill that desire. For sex, for relationship, for children, for home, all those things. For affection. But what if you can't find somebody to love? Then what do you do? Is that the question?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes in their marriages, and still, because the partners want to enjoy it. So how does he need to listen to that, or he needs to serve the husband in any way possible?
What does a woman do if her husband is a... Well, the question is, what do you do if your husband doesn't see you as a gopi belonging to Krishna? Get a new husband who does. Trade him in for a new model.
No, I mean, you're married to my sex
It's too late now. Too late, right?
Yeah, it's too late because they are married.
Well, you have your Dharma. You have your Dharma to serve. So he may not do his, you do yours. You have your Dharma. He may not do his Dharma, but you do your Dharma. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Don't make it right.
Come closer. Two wrongs don't make a right. So you do your Dharma even if he doesn't do his. That's one way to look at it.
So that means you just...
You do the right thing, he does the wrong thing. But you have your limitations. If he's going to do something wrong, you don't want to do something wrong also. You don't want to do something wrong to please him. But you just do the right thing. So you do your Dharma as a wife. And then he can mess up. And then if you can't tolerate it, then you separate but don't marry again. That was Prabhupada's instruction. My instruction would additionally be, just be careful before you get married. So that, like, what do you do if a man's like this? The best answer is have an awareness before you're married of what he's like, so you don't have to ask that question. So then you'll never have to say, what do I do if I married a man like this? You should be in a position to know that that's not the right person to marry.
Sometimes we think it's Krishna sending us this person.
To make so we can suffer. I deserve to suffer, and Krishna sent me this guy, so I might as well marry him because that's all he sent this year, and I'm getting old. And, The point of getting married is to advance. So if it's going to create a horrible situation, why would you do it? Then you might say, well, it'll be horrible if I don't marry it. Then you have to calculate what will be more horrible, marrying this guy or remaining single. As a counselor, I hear many marriage horror stories. And when I hear the horror stories, I think in my mind, would it have been better that this lady was never married? Because I think what she's going through now is worse than what she was going through before she was married. Not that I think, I know that. She's getting abused, physically, verbally, sexually, whatever. Husband won't listen. She's becoming depressed. She can't talk to him. And I think her life before that was not as bad. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, is it not like your karma that you get this as a purification?
Is it not your karma you get it? I would not think like that. Because if you think like that, your life's going to be out of control. Because you'll just accept whatever happens. But what if you fell asleep driving? And then you crashed? You could say it was your karma, that you were destined. But the smarter thing to say was, I shouldn't drive when I'm sleeping. Right? That, it was my fault, I was driving, I should have got off the road, but I didn't, and I fell asleep. That's a logical way to think. So I think, whether it's your karma or not, how will you know? But you want to make the best choice you can. Then I think if you do everything like that, then you could say, okay, it's my karma, but I've done the best I can to ensure that I made the right choices and I've done the right thing as a wife. Then if everything goes haywire, then you can say, yeah, it's my karma. But I would also say sometimes, I say, is it my karma? I said, yeah, it's your karma for choosing the wrong person. That was your instant karma. So you could look at it that way also. So, it's like sometimes it's so hard to tell. Is this my karma? Is this my immediate karma because I did something stupid? Or, yeah, so your idea is it's my karma and I should tolerate it and learn to become more tolerant. So that can be there. If that can help you, okay. But if you go crazy, then how does that help your Krishna consciousness? The point of getting married is to advance your Krishna consciousness, not to go crazy.
Sorry, I was on the basis. Is it also sometimes not like, okay, Krishna is kind of testing us or something like that we take more shelter of him?
Yeah, that can be there, but she's saying, well, maybe I'm just supposed to take shelter of Krishna. That may be there. But it also may be that you're making a bad decision. I mean, every bad situation is an opportunity to take shelter. But sometimes we do the wrong thing and we suffer, and we shouldn't say, well, I guess Krishna wants it. I think it would be better to say, I just made a bad decision. Because that's a better way to live. Otherwise, we blame everything. Well, either blame it on Krishna or our karma. Must be my karma. Say, yeah, your karma, you made a bad choice. That's your karma. No, it's Krishna. Krishna wants this because he wants to teach me a lesson. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not true. Maybe the lesson was Krishna wants you to teach you to make better choices. Or be more careful in your life. So I would say it's not so smart just to write everything off as Krishna's desire or karma. It may be, but it may not be. It just may be our mistake. It would be like saying, you're driving somewhere, and you don't drive that well. Say, well, if we all have good karma, we won't get in an accident. And then I say, if I have good karma, I won't get in the car with you. I'll make my choice now, and that will be my good karma. You see, so you don't want to give up your discrimination. You know what I mean? Yes.
Женщинам обязательно надо выходить замуж только по любви. Но сначала желательно год, чтобы они повстречали, чтобы она точно выбрала, что подходит ей. То есть сразу не надо женщине вступать в отношения половые. И тогда она в течение года, если узнает хорошо, только тогда можно выйти замуж. Потому что женщина крайне важно любить, крайне важно. Просто сначала надо выбрать в течение года, выбрать, подружиться.
It is very important for a woman to marry someone that she loves. It is very important for her to examine him for a year, so that she will see him and then she will see his positive side, see his character, and then basically, but she cannot not love the person that she marries.
Но для мужчины не обязательно. Для мужчина делает какое-то дело, для мужчины это не надо. Поэтому ошибка в большинстве случаев происходит.
What do you mean by love?
Определение любви. Любовь – это когда ты отдаешь тепло сердце всем людям. Независимо, это близкие или далекие. Вот это и есть любовь. Тепло своего
Yeah,
сердца.
sometimes in traditional Indian society or even in Vedic society, a marriage was arranged because the parents could see that it would be a good arrangement. And so the husband and wife first met on their marriage day. And so they asked Prabhupada, well, if they never met, then how was there any love there? And he said, well, they'll serve one another and the love will develop through service. That's a more dharmic approach to marriage. Your approach is a little more romantic. So that's more common today. And there's also more divorce. More divorce today. So the other marriage is more duty-bound. They'll never divorce. Because you see, when it's say, I have to love you to marry you, then what happens when I don't love you anymore? Then I divorce you. I fall out of love. That's the problem. Whereas it's dharmic based, it's you're my husband, I serve you. It's not I love you, I don't love you, you're my husband. Of course I love you, you're my husband. That's from a different time, where there was less divorce. Today we don't understand that. But arranged marriages have lower divorce rate. Did you know that? Arranged marriages have lower divorce rate. But arranged marriages can only work in a society in which people have that dharma. It's like in Vedic society, for a woman, husband is like guru. So, of course she's going to love him. Even if she doesn't love him, she'll love him. There's no question. You can't not love your husband. He's your husband. That's a different, you understand? It's like, you're my father, I love you, even if I don't. Even if you neglected me, I still love you. Because you're my father. Yes?
В Индии, когда подбирали по гороскопу, подходит, не подходит. Если не подходят, они даже не приводили, не знакомили, если не подходят. А вот Только тогда,
Only when charts are low,
замуж, когда подходили подростковые.
when they were matching charts,
И там вполне могла быть проявиться любовь.
then there would be some love and
Yeah. That's what I just said.
Ну да.
The parents arrange it. They make out of making the right choice. Because the institution of marriage in that system is different. The purpose and function is different. And our system now is more romance. And then you fall in love and fall out of love. When you fall out of love, you leave. Right? I think one man I was talking to, a devotee, he said his wife left him. And I said, why? And he said, I got very sick and she just got tired of taking care of me. So that's what we're dealing with.
she said if she would love you, she would take care of you.
Maybe he was
Ungrateful.
ungrateful, yeah. And when the
She loved him when he was 25 with big muscles and strong. That's the problem. You can only understand these things by being married a long time and having a good marriage. Because you go through so many difficulties and you stay together. And to me, that's what love is. It's not like, your hair turns gray, it used to be blonde, now I don't love you. But you're committed, you stay together, you do your duty. Duty becomes love. Duty becomes love. But in the Western concept, duty doesn't sound very romantic or glamorous, does it? You imagine a Hollywood movie about Dharma and marriage? Wouldn't be very interesting, would it? The movie starts where the girl goes to the family with the parents, and the parents talk. Our boy is this, our girl is this. They do the charts match, and they decide to get married. Wouldn't be a very interesting movie, would it? But if they go and the parents say no, but they stare in one another's eyes and stars come out, and then they run off together, and the parents get angry and threaten to kill them. That makes a good movie, right? And they drive off in the sunset and they kiss, and the nice music plays. So that's the concept of marriage. And the concept of marriage today is not a traditional concept, it's the Hollywood concept. Hollywood has built our concept of marriage. Right? That's where it comes from. Novels and Hollywood and MTV. That's where we get our concept of love. Yes?
they try to apply this practice in Russia, arranged marriage, but so many divorce in Bolshevik Shul.
You can't apply arranged marriage as well in a culture that people aren't trained to be dharmic in marriage. You're trying to apply it in a culture where it's about romance. So any way you do it, it's not going to work. It's not the fault of the arranged marriage. It's the fault of the culture.
So what does it mean? We should look in our partner through our senses, through the love, and
What
make
you should
sure
do is you should go to my website, and it has many questions to ask your partner. and ask those questions. And if you get the right answer, marry him. If you get the wrong answer, say goodbye. That's what it means. That we have a couple, and they teach about Grihastha life. And when they were young devotees, they almost got divorced because they didn't understand the Dharma of marriage. And once they understood it, everything was fine. So that's, You see, you get married to be happy, and then after a while, if you're not happy, you want to get out of it. That's not what it's about. It's about working together and making it work and staying together and working through the problems. And if people aren't willing to do that, then statistically they have less than 50% chance of it working. I got married to be happy, now I'm not happy, I want to leave it. You know how many letters Prabhupada got where men wanted to leave their wives? And they were asking for his blessings. I was one of them. But we didn't understand. And Prabhupada said, you get married, and then you see it's not easy, then you want to get out. You don't know what you're doing. That's what he said. You have no idea what you're doing. He said, Prabhupada said, you have no idea what you did when you got married. And right now you want to leave it, you have no idea what you're talking about. Because your goal is to stay together. That's what it's about. So if there's so many divorces, you could say it's from the arranged marriage, but I don't believe that. That's the problem. I believe the problem's deeper. Because people entered marriage with the wrong expectation. Let's say you don't have the greatest relationship, but you make a good team, and so you advance in Krishna consciousness. That's what's most important. You want to be really happy and in Maya, or just be okay in Krishna consciousness? I would choose okay in Krishna consciousness than happy in Maya. No, I want to be happy and Krishna conscious. Okay. But that doesn't always happen. But if you're Krishna conscious, to be happy. But if you're happy, you may not be Krishna conscious.
В большинстве случаев женщина ищет такого мужчину, который бы мог помогать растить детей. То есть она ожидает от него.
What?
Many cases, woman is looking for a person who will help her raising children. She's expecting.
И если он не подходит по этим, она, естественно, конечно, не будет его убирать.
And if he doesn't suit these expectations, she will choose.
Точно так же и мужчины.
Same way with men.
Вот этой чистой любви, без каких-то эксплуатаций друг друга,
Pure love without the sense
практически
of
нет
exploitation,
сейчас.
there is no such sense.
И поэтому развод почти 100%.
Pure love without the sense of exploitation.
Exploitation, yes.
Then what's the conclusion?
Question
It doesn't exist.
Ну, вопрос в том, что почему из-за чего исчезла вот эта чистая любовь, чистые отношения, которые бы поддерживались? Почему разводы 100%
Why
сейчас?
there is almost 100% of divorce? Because we lost the concept of pure love without exploitation. Where did it go?
Oh, where did it go? It went out with Dharma. No, it's all about Dharma. Don't pure. That love which you think is pure, it's Dharma. It's just dedication. It's not. I've been in Indian families. There was no love. There was just pure Dharma. They actually didn't even like one another. But they'd never leave and they never stopped serving one another. So that's more important. Yes? What? No. Western. It might and it might not. But at least the marriage will stay there. No, because the risk you run in a romantic marriage is you lose the romance and then you get divorced. You don't, and if you have a dharmic marriage, then the chances of love being there are stronger because it develops through service, not through romance.
But you're saying that these families will love is
No, I'm not saying all families, but I say I live with one, and I mean they were in their 70s, so maybe when they were younger it was there, but at this point they didn't get along well. I could see that. It wasn't a good relationship. So I asked her about it. I said, what's going on? She said, oh yeah, sometimes we fight and we don't get along. She said, but no question we'll get divorced. I think it's just how you and I would define love and how they define it would be different. And their definition would be more of a dharmic definition, and ours would be more of a romantic definition. So I wouldn't say, I wouldn't really say they didn't love one another, but it just didn't seem like it to me, of what I would consider a loving couple. But they were completely dedicated to one another. And she said, yeah, we fight. He said, sometimes we don't get along. She said, but there's no question there would ever be divorce. It's just not even part of it. It's like the Indian system is so different. Their grandson I was friends with because he was a musician, so he liked me. We had something in common. And we went out one night because I wanted to see the first McDonald's in Delhi. I said, I have to go in. There was an American restaurant, there was McDonald's, and this was the late 90s, and I got to see this. This is crazy. So we went out and we were talking, and he was talking about his girlfriend. He's probably 24, talking about his girlfriend. So I said, so are you going to marry her? And he said, no, my mother will pick my wife. So he has a girlfriend, and his mother's going to pick his wife. And he said it so nonchalantly, like that's just the way it happens. So, and they'll be married their whole life. Until he gets influenced by the West, then they'll, So that was just I couldn't believe that. It's this girl, and he loves her, and he's not going to marry her because his parents are going to pick the right girl to marry, which is the right for the family, right for raising kids, right for the job, all these considerations. So that was a lesson for me. My parents were very dharmic. They didn't, I don't want to say they didn't love one another, but they could have loved one another more. They fought a lot. And my father, he was a good father, he was a good husband, but it was very dharmic marriage. They never talked about divorce or anything. Even if they had a fight, they never talk about divorce. So, to me that's more love than so-called love. It's I love you so much I'll never leave you, even I don't love you so much, but I won't leave you. So then it's kind of you get the best of it. But the other kind, to me, it's dangerous. Because the attraction, it's so strong. When that attraction's not there, what's left to keep it going? Unless you really, really get along well. Yes?
One musical called People Are Women, and in it there's three girls that are trying to get married, some parents, some Jewish parents, that are trying to get their girls married, and they're all choosing different. They don't really have their marriage arranged. And then one day the husband asks the wife, do you love me? And she says, what? Why do you ask me? I had an arranged marriage. Why do you ask me? Do you love me? And there's a whole song about it. And in the end she said, well, yes, I guess I do. But it's like what you were saying.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like I don't know if I love you, but I'll give my life to you. So it's like the Dharmic said, you get the love even if it's not there the way we understand. But my personal theory is that this is so hard to understand because Hollywood and Bollywood have destroyed Dharma and marriage. So we don't know what it is. Every song on the radio is not about Dharmic marriage. It's about lust. Right? One more night, just one more night. What's that about? It's about a boyfriend and a girlfriend spending the night together. And that's what we hear, You're 14 years old and that's the songs you hear. Right? Oh, baby, baby. And you're 14 years old and you're singing songs like that. What does that do to your brain? What does that imprint in your concept of marriage? And then you've grown up, you've had like 16 boyfriends before you get married, so how can you focus on this guy? I never had a relationship more than 2 years, and I'm supposed to marry one person for my whole life? As opposed to no relationships, this man is the first relationship, and there's no such thing as divorce in our community. That would be a lot easier. We do japa retreats. In the japa retreats, we chant 64 rounds. And everybody who's never done it is thinking the night before, this is going to be difficult. But everybody does it. Because you're with 50, 100 people doing it, it's easy. And we take a vow of silence. You can't talk anyway. So if you don't chant, there's nobody to talk to. So it's actually easy. So in a society where every marriage is arranged and there's no divorce, it's much easier. Of course, there are perils to that when the husband misbehaves, or you don't have good parents, obviously. Yeah. Because the thing is, if you do your Dharma, you'll be happy. It's not necessarily this man or this woman per se will make me happy, but if I do my Dharma as a good husband or a good wife, I'll be happy. So that was the point. Your husband could be whatever, but if you do your Dharma as a wife, at least you're doing your Dharma, and that will make you happy. Right? As long as he's not beating you up or something. Or acting like a 10-year-old. Having temper tantrums every day. But that might drive you crazy. But if he's, just a normal, decent guy that just doesn't know how to talk and doesn't know how to feel, well, that's kind of normal for men. So, you do your duty, you'll be happy. Every woman practically says, my husband, he's got no feelings, he doesn't know how to listen, he doesn't know this, he doesn't know that. Every man is like that practically. They're all like that. That's the way God made them. So you do your Dharma as a woman, you'll be happy, generally. And you expect so many women expect their husbands to be like women, where they listen. The woman says, I had a hard day, and they go, oh, it's so bad. And men have to go to all these workshops to become like women so they can listen. It's not their nature. Their nature is to go out and compete and become number one. And their wives have a problem. It's just do this, fix it like this. That's their nature. So, you're not going to get the perfect guy. Because, the guy wants his wife gets upset and cries, and he wants her to be like a guy. Why are you crying? Be tough. They're not made like that. So, Yeah?
То есть об отношениях мужчина должен рассказывать мужчинам, а женщина должна женщинам рассказывать, опытная женщина.
There's certain things you can only get from men if you're a man. Same for women. Both. Well, when you have a family of 20 people, then your wife can talk, get her 60,000 words out with the other ladies in the house. If she tries to get it out with a guy, he just gets bored. It's not interesting to him. what she wants to talk about. Oh, I feel like this and feel like that. And he's like, oh, here we go again. He'd rather just talk to his male friends about, something more exciting. She'll get more response from her female friends. And so now in our society, you have one man and one woman alone, and the guy's got to learn to be like a woman. And she's got to learn to be a little bit like a man. So she's out there working, tough, rough. That's it. And he's going to be all, okay, I'll wash the dishes, I'll change the diapers. It's not like, it doesn't come natural to the man. I'll do the laundry. I did a marriage workshop in India, and I asked every man in the workshop, have you ever washed the dishes? And not one said yes. Not one man in India has ever washed dishes in his house. In any country, any other country, you ask that question, every man will raise his hand and say, yeah, I wash dishes.
But they have these servants in India. They have Mexican.
Not everybody has servants, but that's true, they have servants, but in India, men are men and women are women. And so they, at least traditionally. Because you have a big family, so you can be a man and she can be a woman. Yes?
But Prabhupada trained our brahmachari to be a good cook also. And
That's
to do
different.
the service and to...
Devotees are transcendental. Yeah. I'm just saying culture. Yes? Last point, and then we'll quit.
We'll ask, do you think that this problem will be solved? The problem that we could do more dynamically if we had more collective society, which is wrong, but I think integrated with families that are living together, so there is more opportunity for sharing.
Yeah.
Maybe not supporting people, but maybe have one family. There's enough women and men in the family, and children for everyone to find them.
Yeah. I think community is a good solution.
And that's the example for how to really have.
But I think values and culture have to change. It's the way we look at marriage and what we want to get out of it that can ruin it.
That's what the elders were.
You see, I was listening to this one guy, I think he was talking about marriage, and he observed, he said, in more traditional societies, when children are raised, they're raised with the idea that I'm going to contribute to my community. And so they think, what are they going to do when they grow up to contribute to make the community better? And he said, now in our society, it's all about what's the best job I can get that will make the most money. It's all about me. It's no longer about contribution. So he said that he felt the increase of divorce rate happened because of that shift. Because if you're into community, then you'll be into family. What can I do for the family? But if it's all about me, then you go into the family, it's about you. So you and I are fighting. It's about me and you. Rather than how can I serve you, how can you serve me? So my realization is the traditional values always worked, and we've dropped them in modern society. And we have so many problems because we've dropped them. And all the young people are thinking those are old-fashioned, and those would make us miserable. But the result is increased divorce and unhappiness.
The way they for the community and to share to get the blessings of the community through marriage, and also for them to bear witness, so you have the gratitude that's making it work.
Yeah.
And now it's all about the bride and groom special day, like.
Yeah. It's like, the royal families when there was marriage, it was an alliance, political alliance. So I think that idea was always there, If your family joins our family, then that will be good for agriculture, for business, for something. So it was multidimensional. And then we have these boys, these cousins, these uncles, and so you analyze it, how it would all work. And now it's just, like you say, it's you and me. And we can go to Las Vegas and we can drive through in 10 minutes get married. You know, fast food, fast marriage.
Gandharva style. Gandharva style.
Yeah. But the joke is that you can drive in and get married, and on the other side is the divorce side. So quick marriage, quick divorce.
All legalized. Like, we go.
Yeah. Okay? So what's the conclusion? Stay brahmachari? You're too old to get married.
Я уже напрасно.
I will leave in the past.
Oh yeah, you're too old. But if you were not a devotee, you'd marry a 30-year-old girl.
Если бы вы были преданным, возможно,
Chew the chewed.
Я об этом и думал.
I can think about that.
Мне кажется, проблема всех этих разводов заключается в той стране, где ты живешь.
I think the problem of all these divorces is in the country in which we live.
Проблемы богатых и бедных,
The problem of poor and rich
она очень сильно влияет на вот эти разводы и так далее.
also affects divorce rate.
Когда в Советском Союзе
Because in Soviet Union,
не было сильно богатых, сильно
there
бедных,
were
было
no
одинаково.
people, no rich people. Everyone was almost equal.
И люди жили в дружбе.
People were living in friendship.
А сейчас, воспитывая детей,
Now when they raise children,
воспитывают детей, они говорят, не дружи с тем, потому что там он или слишком богат, или слишком бедный. Уже с детства идет разделение, поэтому нет общения.
don't be friends with that person because he's too poor, he's too rich, and they're like dismantling the society.
Yeah. So many reasons.
From childhood.
But in America,
Да, да.
there was no divorce 50 years ago. It was illegal. It also affects it. That you can't do it. But that reflected the value of society. It was illegal. They didn't allow it. 30 years ago, I went to South Africa. Every store had to close at 5 o'clock. Everybody had to be home. The government wanted everyone home with their family by 6 o'clock. Every store had to close by 1 o'clock on Saturday. And no store could open on Sunday. They wanted them to go to church and be with their family. Now you go to America, 24-hour stores. You can go shopping at 1:30 in the morning. So the culture also. Okay? Finish? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Next weekend I won't be here. And I won't be here in April, May, June, July, August, September. It's going to be at least 6 months. But you can see me online at this time. Just go to Ustream and I'll be there. Like they are here now. Okay?
А вы давно женились, давно?
Did you marry for a long time? Did you get married a long time ago?
23 years.
23 года.
It's not that long.
23 года.
Did you get married by love or your marriage was